everyone. Welcome to another episode of Diary of a Professional. It is Ashley.
And Lou here.
And we have a very, very familiar face here with us this evening. Dawris is here in the building, catching us up and what she's doing. So, before we get into all of that, let's get into our gratitudes. Marlou, take it away.
I actually have one. Thought about it. Yeah, I am grateful for knowing my limits and accepting them. It's just kind of like, oh, I don't got it in me. Cool. I'm okay with that. Not going to shame myself, not going to beat myself up. Tomorrow's another day, especially if it's really not a priority. Lucky I even acknowledged it. So I am thankful that I love it for me. The big age, wonderful things are happening. So I'm grateful for that.
I love that. Oh, I like that when we're just self-aware of ourselves. Know what we can and cannot do.
Yeah, you know? Sometimes you got to throw the day away. Sometimes you got to throw the week away and and that's okay.
That's absolutely okay. Okay. For me, I guess my gratitude is just really just keeping a routine. I'm grateful for routine. That's what I'm grateful for. Because there's nothing like a good old routine.
You know what to expect, no surprises.
No surprises, no nothing. You get everything in, you do what you need to do. Now, if I taken care of my skincare routine, that'd be a different story. But overall, my day-to-day routine, I feel grateful for that. Making sure I get my 8 hours of sleep.
Okay.
You know, making sure I get my gym time in. I'm just grateful for routine and just getting all the things I want to get done. So, yes. Sounds weird, but I'm grateful for it.
Boom, boom. I have no space for routine in my life right now. So I be praying for that routine. Routine don't come. But what am I grateful for? I'm grateful for community. You know, in this new chapter, building a new community and leaning on a community and having a community is absolutely critical. So I'm super, 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 super grateful for community because it's holding me all the way up. And that's what I'm grateful for.
Amen. Amen. I mean, so we could act like, this is someone out of the blue, but I'm sure many of you are very familiar. This is our, former professional, Miss Dawris Gomez. So just like we said at the top of the year, we're going to keep you posted. And so here she is to let us know what she's been up to.
Yes,
let us know.
Guys, as promised. Here I am to give you guys some feedback on, what my experience has been like out here in the field as a business owner and having zero certainty about where your next paycheck is coming from. And, you have set amount of funds in your bank account. And that brings up a very different part of yourself. And something that I've been saying a lot lately is this is the biggest spiritual game I've ever played. I mean, it's really not, it's a game, and it's not a game that can be played if you're weak in the heart. It just isn't. So, originally when I stepped out, right, and this is still my main business, which is Gotcha Comfort of Stamford, custom window treatments. That's my baby. That's the franchise I purchased. And that's my baby. That's my hustle, right? And what's been happening there? A lot. So we opened up in September. And so what? It's been October, November, December, January. So 4 months. And it's been the craziest ride I've ever been on. I mean, it's, you think, oh, you can create your own day. And yes, that is true. But the days you want to create and need to create are savage if you're if you're really trying to, and not just that, but like, if your capital isn't crazy where you're trying to spend, on minimum, for those of us that have done it, like minimum, it's like $1,500 a month to just, advertise, get your SEO, get your pay-per-clicks on the hopes that you will get some calls and some leads and get some name recognition, and a girl over here had that for a little while, but for how long can you pay $1,500 a month when you got rent you got to pay all these other fees, and people don't think, you need all these other services, your phone, your, all your CRMs, your customer relationship managers, all these things coming in, and you're like, but I ain't got no appointment set up. Right. So like, what do you do then? Right. And it's like, shit, you have to just get into your spiritual game in just an entirely different form. I'm like entirely grateful for all the prepping, that I've done. It was way easier to do when I was in a stable, chill place. So it's definitely more intense to keep that spiritual like juice when you're like,
the real test.
When will I stop paying my bills with my savings, But that's where community came in, right? So like soon after I started, I joined a networking group, and they've been just absolutely amazing. Joined several chapters. So for those of you guys really trying to get your businesses off the ground, I mean, after meeting number one, I had my first appointment. That was my first whole house closed, 6,500 quote, my first sale. That would have never happened on my own or on the internet. Never. It would have just never happened. So, and actually the following like 2 or 3 sales have come from that. And, I'm up to like 7. I'm like ramping up how many sales and quotes I'm putting together per month. Lord Jesus, today I went, by the way, y'all, I'm doing all of this without a car. And for those of y'all that don't like, if you want to know a hustle, like have no car and have to sell shit that you have to take samples for. Okay. I should have put a sample next to
New York City setting where, transportation might not be the easiest. It's crazy because today I ran across this video about this professor. He had like, Asian students and like Black students, and he's like, why are they not doing as good as the other one? And one teacher was like, oh, maybe they're just ill prepared. And the professor was like, no, they wouldn't have met the criteria to even be admitted to this college if they did it. And, he's like, let me observe you guys. And he was like, they studied hard, if not harder. But the issue was they studied alone, where the Asian, students studied together and they had that community. And that's why they were able to do so good. So then he made it mandatory to do like group work. You know what I mean? So I love how you bring in that community because that is very important. You know what I mean? Obviously, having the numbers and the bodies there was a struggle, but what else do you feel like you've gained from your community?
Ooh, a lot of know-how. I mean, literally everything. So like last meeting, I'm like, my ask for this week is referrals to CPAs. Like literally anything that I'm like, I'm not sure. I'll be like, okay, in these groups, you'll have people from many different industries. And generally, most of these groups, you just have one person in each industry. And so, you'll have your, You'll have your house inspector, you'll have your lawyer, you'll have your immigration lawyer, your commercial real estate, your residential real estate, and it goes on and on and on and on. And so each of those people has some know-how of something that I may need, and it might even just be a personal need. I might just need, a friend might need their house painted, or, something fixed, or, whatever it is, but it's having the resources always available, and with like not Googling it, not having to sift through Google ads because somebody can afford to pay $5,000 a month or more, right, to be on the top of a page. So, that is just incredibly valuable.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what even brought you to this place? What made you pivot from, I guess, that comfortable, routine like Ashley had before, to choosing this life of entrepreneurship?
Breaking those golden handcuffs.
Yeah.
Really, it was simple. I mean, I refused to get vaccinated, and they've made it they made it for a long time basically impossible to join a lot of companies without getting vaccinated. And I mean, could I have found something else? Absolutely. But what I realized was I'm only gonna ingress into a system that's exactly like the one that I am leaving. And maybe I'll circumvent this thing that they have decided to play with my livelihood with, and my body and my agency, right? There's just going to be something else later. There's going to be another agenda. There's going to be something else. And I don't want my livelihood to be based on that. I want it to be, if I'm going to fail and lose my livelihood, it best to believe better be on my terms. It's not going to be on some random ghost figure that's out here making up what they think. Well, let me not even say making up. They're lying, not just straight up lying about a lot of things, and for their benefit and not mine. And, actually, I'm grateful for understanding that, which, a lot of people don't. And we're seeing it now, all those people that compromised themselves, their agency, their belief system, all of the above. How many of them are getting let go now? Every company is letting go of at least 10% of their workforce at the moment. And that's what I didn't want to be a part of. And no one's going to fire me. Who can fire me? No one. No one can fire me. If a client doesn't want to do business with me, great. I'm going to go find another client and then another client. But lose my whole everything? No. So that was the decision.
And then, like, what has been the most rewarding part for you so far?
Ooh,
in this position.
Yeah, actually, like going into people's homes and like going to all these neighborhoods. I'm actually, for those of you who don't know, I'm like only a year and a half in or so living in Connecticut. And wow, like I'm just seeing so many pockets. It's like so diverse, like, these neighborhoods. And I don't mean diverse. I mean, they're also diverse skin wise, but I mean, diverse in terms of the environment, right? Like some of these places you think you're in you're about to be in a cabin, like, but really you're a 20-minute drive from the city. Just today I went to a home, a $1.6 million home. It's like beautiful to have a look into people's lives and themselves. It's really intimate. Like one of the clients yesterday, like, she was with her baby and she's like trying to keep her baby entertained, and you could see like she's like struggling, and it's so cute. You're like, it's okay. I'll sit outside with you. Like, I'll wear this mask. Like, let's rush this out. We'll meet again, So just getting a very deep and like inside view to people. Like you see their hobbies, like one of my clients paints figurines, like action figures. I was like, this is fucking cool. I feel mad weird now about my hobbies. This is fucking cool as shit. Like, I need to get more creative with my fucking hobbies. But it's expanding my world, right? Like seeing how other people live and who they are, like people I would never bump into regularly. And people open up a lot when you're in their house for obvious reasons. Well, and I don't know, my energy also somehow makes that happen. So, but not all, but many. But, that's been the most rewarding. You see people like they just moving into their homes and like it's their first home or they're, there's just like a lot of like beautiful human interaction in this process.
For sure. So like, clearly, there's a lot of joy that comes from it. But what, out of all the different things you could do as an entrepreneur, what led you in this particular field?
Yeah, well, the first thing the first step was making the decision that I didn't want to just open up an LLC and be like Dawris Gomez window treatments or Dawris Gomez fashion, whatever. It's very difficult to build a brand. And I think anybody who has tried or is trying or whatever can attest to the fact that it is incredibly difficult, especially because of what I mentioned before, the amount of marketing dollars that some people have versus others, right? And that really is what makes a lot of these businesses, do well or not. So the first decision I made was I'm either going to buy an existing business that like, a baby boomer is wanting to sell because, they want to retire, their kids don't want it or whatever the scenario is, but it's a successful business and they're trying to get rid of it. And that was like the first angle. And then I'm like, but really I like having a team and, you're going into a field, no matter what, something that you've never done before. I want a rubric. I want something between like full ownership, right? Like it's all mine and like a corporate world, right? And that's what a franchise really is, right? You have your corporate headquarters and they're your support system. They, you have that buying power. You have, and that's another thing, buying power, like Dawris Gomez window treatments is not going to get the same cost factor for her blinds than, someone much larger, right? Like a Hunter Douglas showcase owner. And so, you become very not competitive in the market because everybody else can outbid you. So that was my first decision. Okay, I definitely want to do a franchise. And then after that, it was matching like, and by the way, guys, I used a coach and actually I used a man by the name of Chip Myers. If you guys ever want to look him up on LinkedIn, he's amazing. And his company is the Entrepreneur Source. So if you guys just want to get information about what it takes to buy into a franchise, like what it is, and just with no strings attached, like look up Chip Myers. Any which way, we went through like, what are my goals? Like, what am I looking at? Like, what am I trying to get into? And, I was like, well, I don't want to deal with having to have a retail space. I definitely don't want to do anything with food. The margins are incredibly small and there's so much waste.
Especially now that food costs an arm and a leg.
And now you have to you must do Grubhub and they're taking all your, you were already barely profitable and now Grubhub has come and other platforms, Uber Eats, all of these things, and they're just chomping down at these margins. So I knew I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to deal with having to have part-time staff that are unreliable. Not to say all, but, to find someone good. And not just that, when you're a small man show, it's critical to have your staff. You don't have somebody to take that person's place. So, and I knew I was going to be a one-woman show. So, those were some of the criterias. And then we narrowed some of that down. And then I started dating a couple of different franchises. And then I landed with Gotcha Covered because one of the biggest things that I wanted was a group of people that I vibed with. Like the culture was where I wanted to be. And that was top. And I loved Hannah, which is She's amazing. She does the recruiting with Gotcha Covered. Like she takes you through the validation process. And, you know, so that was one. And then I wanted something creative. You know, I don't want it to be boring. And window treatments are very creative. There's a lot of options. There's a lot of colors. It's a lot. And then and with drapery, forget about it. And then another piece was, you know, I wanted high-end sales. I did not want to do your little $10 here, $20 there. No. I need a product that demands a large margin. And this is an industry that does. On top of the fact that we will always have windows. I mean, it would be crazy if we didn't, but even in like Armageddon, people need they want windows even more because they want to look outside and not feel, not, you know,
You need that vitamin D.
Like there are mad windows. Just go outside. You know, I would go out like as I was dating the companies, I was like, I went outside and I was like, shit, there's mad fucking windows. I was like, I'm going to sell the fuck out of this window treatments. There's mad windows. So, you know, opportunity was also like a big one. Like, how's the market? You know, what does this market look like? You know, what does it do like in a recession? You know, like there are items that don't do great in a recession, right? And there are items that regardless, they still keep getting purchased. They might spend less money on it. They'll buy a cheaper product, but they will buy window treatments. So those were my considerations at landing, and they wanted me back. You do have to date them. They can say no. You know, you date them as much as they date you in the franchising world, because it's a partnership. You know, if you fail, then their numbers don't look great. They don't look good, and they don't want to set you up for failure, which is a perfect system. Well, I don't know if it's perfect. I've only been there but it's a well thought out system. It's been working for many humans for a long time now, you know. So it's a good system. I mean, not all franchises obviously function exactly the same. And are there bad models? Probably, but I landed on a good one. So yeah, very excited. But that's why you validate, you know, you do your research, you talk to owners, you talk to, you know, not just the people that work there, but the people that own franchises. You know, you call them all, you get your research done. So, yeah.
So speaking of sales, for those who might not know, I was in your previous life, you were doing that. So what qualities and things did you take from your past experiences that you think have helped you to be successful in the space you are now?
Oh my God, everything, all of it. I mean, Verizon Wireless was like the craziest training ground for sales like ever in life. Probably, you know, just as crazy or more than car salesmen. So I'm going to say definitely worse because these folks are contracted in, you know, it's like a crazy ball game. But I learned a lot. I learned how to deal with people of all types. I've learned to not get intimidated. You know, for my first big sale, I mean, the guy called me, he's a business owner and he's very high up in like certain networking groups or whatever. So obviously I really want to close it. I want to make sure it's great because I want his business and all this stuff, like, and reoccurring business, all this stuff. My girl, he called me after I sent him a quote and he ripped me a new one. He was like, how could you? I know that you're new. What is this quote? You know, you don't even have a showroom. And I mean, he went in and I'm like, I'm on this phone. Mind you, I'm actually with a business network partner, which I will talk to you guys later about. Jay Hilburn. She's the one that got me into that little thing that I'm doing. And I'm sitting there just mad chill. I was like, okay. I said, listen, what I'm hearing is that you want to negotiate. I said, I'm happy to negotiate. I said, I'm at a lunch. I said, I will call you when I'm out of this lunch and you'll tell me what number you're thinking. And let's see if I can meet you there. Cool. We'll talk later. Ciao. And Anne was just like, And I was like, yeah, like this is nothing. I've
Sounds
had
good.
people wish death upon me over a phone. Like, you know, and actually one of the points I actually did want to make today, so I'm glad this kind of jogged my thing, is it's very humbling to be in business for yourself. If you cannot be vulnerable and humble yourself, you will not succeed. Like that is period and point blank. And actually, because we were talking about resources earlier, like it's never about your resources, it's about how resourceful you are, you know. And you know, I might be the first top seller of window treatments with no vehicle, and I will take that with a crown. But um, but yeah, those are, you know, some big pieces there. Like be humbled, like it's okay. But I got a lot of tools, you know, that being that, you know, how to manage somewhat a business. I mean, obviously there are more levels to it now, but I can project manage because I did operations, right? And a lot of this is project management, you know, following up, doing your quotes, scoring your thing, and then, you know, then there's a process. Then you got to order stuff. Then you got to wait for it to come in. You got to tell the client what's happening with that, and then you need to figure out installation and coordinate that. So, you know, there's a lot of that. So, you know, I got a lot of that there as well. And just like overall sales skills, just, you know, understanding where to meet a person, you know, how to behave around them, what to say, you know, how to flow with it. Like I'm not nervous. Like some people, you know, that I've met that are new in this business, they're mortified of going into someone's home and talking about something, you know, it's scary.
Yeah.
But I went into cell phones knowing nothing about cell phones, and you just go out there and you just go. You won't know things. You'll, you know, be like, oh, I'll find out for you, or, you know, be like, okay, if I can take a good guess, I have a good feeling that I think this is it, you know, just being that ballsy. And it gave me that like anything can be fixed, because trust me, we did a lot of crazy things, and window treatments are not as critical as somebody's business phone number. So, so I ain't scared, you know, it's like, I know like whatever could go wrong is not going to be as crazy as back at my former life at VZW. So that resilience of 100. Yeah.
So
Yo, I cried a little in the bathroom that day, by the way, when I did that to this lady. It's her livelihood. It's like somebody told me they took my whole shit away, and I'm like, what? I need to pay bills. So yeah. Anyway.
So tell us about how you got into Jay Hilburn too, as well. Can you tell us about that?
Yes, and I want to tell you guys what that is and all this jazz. So actually, this was a development because of the business networking group that I'm in, right? Like to just further showcase how interacting with a bunch of different group of people can change your life path. But basically, she's been working with a brand called Jay Hilburn, and it's a men's custom wear clothing line. And she's been with them 12 years. And I've just recently joined her team. And basically, we're stylists, we're consultants for gentlemen for clothes. So it's like amazing quality. They use the same mills in Milan that all these top brands use. They use the same like workrooms with very high, they actually have their own wing apparently because their quality standards are really high. But anyway, they use that same crew at like Nordstrom prices, but it's your size, and you don't have to go and funnel through shit that you know is not going to fit. If it fits you here, it's not going to fit you here. If it fits you there, it's not going to fit you here, because they've decided on a number. And most of us women, we have the luxury of having a lot of spandex. What kind of spandex these men's having? None. There's no spandex. I mean, yes, but it shouldn't be. And that's why I'm out here trying to educate and help these gentlemen out here in these streets, because I see what's happening out there. And I know we went through COVID and shit, but guess what, gentlemen? Bitches still want to see you looking fly once in a fucking while. Put on a button up with some jeans. Look fucking fresh. Look fucking cute. What the fuck? Anyway, sorry for my language, but I get very serious about this because they be mad bummy out here. Like, you're looking like the biggest snacks. You're in heels. You're in knee-high boots. You're in, your whole nine. Your fur. Your blue. Because y'all know me. But your man's in like fancy, like jegging. I mean, let me not. Sweatpants. Because we know they tighten up to be
jeggings. You're being nice. It might be jeggings.
That's why I was like,
it is jeggings.
Sometimes they're jeggings. Like,
they haven't recovered.
They haven't, and we need to get them there. So I've started in this venture, and it's really amazing. Like, high quality. It's not something that like you have to pay thousands of dollars to be a part of. If instead, if you're looking for a side hustle, not to purchase, like, contact me. I'd be happy to give information on it. But it's a great way of having an income that you have full control over, right? Without like somebody being down on you in your, 9 to 5, right? And it is something that you could do part-time. And the game basically is get clients, right? Get men that need the service, which is a lot of them. Guys that are short on time. You meet them in their office, you show them the collections, you do this, you measure them. If they're not in front of you, we have a virtual measuring app that's very accurate, and the guys just measure themselves in an app, and you can do virtual consultations. Nice. I mean, you can take that anywhere. For me right now, I'm like, okay, I have my window treatment business. It's my baby. That's where like 95% of my energy goes. But that there's another 2% that goes elsewhere. But this 3%, I want to be smart about it. So for example, the first launch thing that we're doing is I've coordinated an event in my building, inviting the building folks and some other people from other buildings in my area, because I live in a community with a bunch of very large building dwellings. And we're doing an event. I'm like, I spend 3 or 4 hours, and I have the potential of getting, a ton of sales in that. And it is commission based, right? But there's no overhead. So for anybody who's looking to, and for photographers you're already talking to all the brides, all the grooms, amazing way to add a different leg to your business. Just giving some examples of like people that I'm looking to partner with as well. Like I'm partnering with Joanna, which is owner of Sage and Sonder Events. And, I'm like, hey, you tell your clients when they're coming in, they're planning for their wedding. This is, the suits are coming down the line, give them this, right? And have that partnership. So, guys out there, like, there's some interesting times coming. We're already there, but they're, economically, we're going, we're just going downhill. That's clear. How many people are being let go and all this jazz. Look for ways, maybe not this, but I wanted to talk about it to just show you guys there are so many different ways that you can get creative. That is not just like opening something online and hoping that, you'll get a couple dollars here and there. Like brands that, yes, it's like Avon, right? Let's say it's like what an Avon was, but Avon, amazing, but this is custom menswear, which by the way, selling to men is so much more interesting because it's just so much more straightforward. So any of y'all that do sales and do sales with women, you guys will enjoy selling to men. But, just really to get it out there to our group, because I miss you guys. To get creative and start setting some groundwork in creating your own economic system, something that you have more control over, an agency over, because at any given moment, things can be taken from under you. And you want to be in a position where you're in control of that, right? So even if it's a part-time situation just to get a couple more coins, highly recommend to either reach out to me if this sounds like fun and something you'd like to do, or do some research online, go talk to people in business groups, go get involved in the neighborhood, in the community. These guys are out here making money in ways that like we're not going to Google into. Like every Google, like how many of us have Googled like more ways to make money? It's the same list on every site. And it's all the same nonsense that'll pay you dollars, like cents for your time, literally cents for your time. Get more creative on that front, guys. It's out there. We just have to be persistent and put ourselves out there, open up our minds to something different. Yeah.
I love that. So, clearly it is possible if you can do it running an entrepreneurship and then doing it on the side. So, get y'all coins.
And let me tell you, some of these stylists are doing very well for themselves. These men out here, they be spending money on their clothes. Don't sleep on them. Absolutely. They're spending bread, and just to save themselves time and the aggravation. Mind you, it's not just like kind of custom, like your sizing. You get to choose your buttons, your lapels, the stitching. Do you want it in with your initials? I mean, every step of your linings on your suit jackets. I mean, everything is customizable. So I want to like make sure I make that a point. This is not just like a little customization. Like it is yours. Probably nobody else will have them like that. And you could do it with your jeans as well, like custom fit jeans, not just, at first, it was just formal wear, but now not just formal wear. You got your chinos, you got your 5 pockets, you got your jeans.
Any joggers?
They do have joggers. Mm-hmm. They just introduced joggers. I have to learn a little bit more about what they do with the joggers. But yes, joggers is a thing now, okay? They also do leather goods for men and stuff, which is fun. But their bread and butter is that super custom experience that we give. And the high quality. Once you get that one shirt, you're like, never will I ever. And it costs you the same as Nordstrom, but it's yours and it fits. I mean, it really sells itself. So, yeah, guys, I'm like out here in these streets just hustling, bustling, making these coins.
So anything you want to definitely let the audience take away while you're on this entrepreneurial journey? Like any advice you give to anyone on a similar journey like this? Any takeaways?
Yeah. It's not for everyone. I think there's this like big pressure for everyone to do like their own thing. But there are ways to do your own thing without doing your own thing, where you still have a system, a team, a crew, like you don't have to do it by yourself and be like a full-on entrepreneur to be able to have an economy that you have more control over. I really want to bring that point home. So for those of us that really like to be in a team and you're motivated and encouraged by having an accountability system, things like Jay Hilburn provide that. You have a team leader, you have your group, you have a system there, and you sell and you get commission. Very basic. And I'm sure there are other systems out there like that. So, you don't have to do it by yourself to have something that's yours for yourself. So
love that. So guys, if you're looking to style your home and windows, if you're looking to style a man in your life, please let them know where they can find you.
Yes. So if you would like to reach me about styling the men in your life, please reach out to me at my first name, DAWRIS, last name, GOMEZ, at jhilburnpartner.com. I'm sure the ladies will put that on there for us. And then if you need your windows treated, okay, which by the way, y'all think no, but these UV rays are crazy. You need them. Don't think you could just have them all willy-nilly. Please reach out to me. You can go to my website, gotchacovered.com/Stamford. You can find me there, or you can ring me at my work phone, and that is 203-505-2777. You can reach me there all the time, minus nighttime. Don't call me at weird hours. I will not pick up. Let me stop. Business hours, you can reach me there. And again, for the J. Hilburn, it could be if you're trying to style your man or if you're looking to join the crew. I'll be happy to be your sponsor. So let me know.
Woo. All right.
The girl is busy. Thank you for giving us your time.
Right?
Yes, catching the people up. And you know, guys, like, subscribe, comment, hit her up. She has a lot of resources. So thank you for joining us. And until next time.
Bye.